My name is Alexandra Bush. I'm the digital production specialist at the Mass Historical Society, and I've worked there for about 2 years now. I chose one image from the Arthur Shurcliff collection of lantern slides. A lantern slide is basically the glass precursor to like an overhead projector slide. Yeah, just a image on a piece of glass that you could project as a presentation. It is not said anywhere in the collection, any of the writing about the collection, but due to the kind of the titles and the content of the slides, I think that they were probably used by Arthur Shurcliff as a presentation either to students or to industry professionals about landscape architecture in various aspects in Boston and beyond. So the reason that the collection itself is important to me is because it was one of the first ever projects that I worked on in my current position at the MHS. I had just gotten out of grad school. I was really excited to start the job, and this gigantic collection of 1,200 lantern slides was dropped into my lap. They had already been digitized at that point, but what I was asked to do was to create derivative images from the masters. So, they could be viewed on the website and kind of check or tweak all 1,200 titles of all 1,200 lantern slides. The really cool thing about it, and the reason that I think it was used for teaching, is because, he's got a series of like photos of Boston, for instance. There's a lot of different photos of a lot of different places, but the Boston views are a really good example, and that's the image that I chose also. It's an image of Tremont Street, I think. And he follows them. It's always these kind of interesting angles or interesting regions taken from kind of a regular person's perspective. It's not like he's taking a panoramic view of the State House. It's like he's on some random path in the public garden taking a picture of like a tree and a bench. And you can see why he does that, because if you go from that slide to the next slide in the sequence, you can see that exact space in Boston drawn in a plan. He's using photos that he presumably took himself to illustrate what's going on in these plans. One more thing to say about it. I got to work on this project right when I started at the MHS. And at that point in my life, I was probably spending the most time that I ever have spent since in downtown Boston walking around, because I went to grad school in the like Longwood, Fenway area. My previous job was in the Longwood area. And then I started working at MHS, and I was just walking all along this place. I walked past the Kelleher Rose Garden, and it was so validating to start at MHS and start working with this collection that just had this awesome cachet of Boston history, and let me, look back and see the places that I was looking at every day 100 years in the past.